back yet again. Indeed, certainly with this massive fight, you could say, although I guess it's not really. I'm actually pretty sure this probably would have been preceding the... I forget the exact details, but the one in the Tale of Two Cats, this would have been probably well after this fight, and that, seeing how the rest of the crew's still here, and also Panther, indeed. Oh man, that drawing breath, indeed. Actually, it's funny that, considering with the... Yeah, see with that drawing key and all. Oh, that. Yeah, that's the thing as far as actual trying to get the key and that, you know. Yeah, that weapon. Oh man, indeed, that's what we're searching for, to try and get this big fancy giant key for the door, and it's a big fucking effort, this, but that's kind of the whole leading up to the epic stuff, indeed. And now with Bob the Cat by our side. Ah man. So I've got to say, as far as actually quest goes and that, I will confess this is arguably one of the better ones in terms of engaging storylines. I'd still say maybe the more... I'm not going to lie, as much as more seems a bit forced because of the whole popularity of Swamp Lentex, and oh fuck, have we got quite the thing to say about him indeed. Yeah, it seems like it is pretty much well done, you know, the lore and all that, and the areas it's brought. It's just a pity with the quest designs, you can't really have bland mindless quests that don't really offer much. It's like, you got to have a lot of investment returns and all. It's like, it's not that you can't have quests, you just got to have some alongside with it. And I think I'd be alright with that if they just did more of them, you know. It's like, okay, fine, you know, just like, the small quests can't really be popular, you know, anymore. We've got to have something that's like kind of bigger and all that, fine. But they're still slow in the quests, and like, oh god, I could drag off right off the bat here of series that needs to be kind of looking into, you know, the fairy ring one, you know, the penguins, the dwarves. Okay, I can't remember all of them right off the top of my head and that, but there are certainly a good few that want attention and that, you know. The elemental shop, that could also be doing a nice little touch up on that, and just, you know, if you really look into it, there's a good few quests that could be, you know, nice having their own kind of Grandmaster quest, and especially the desert. Like, Desert Treasure Trove, but that's, the only reason I don't really say that's because that's kind of already on the lines anyhow, and there's a lot of demand for it, so that's what people are expecting, you know, the next one to be focusing on the desert, expanding it and all, and I think that's what we'll be leading up to, because a lot of people are saying desert's probably the worst area to pick, even though it's got the dark types, which is essential for making them, and you know, thus making one of the more better weapons even better with all these relics. So, I mean, who the fuck knows, but certainly it would have been nice if they expanded it before the leagues, but alas. So, anywho, may as well get back to the Zane news. We'll go for this maze, which is, I think it's the first of the 4 that I picked in that. Yeah, so, as far as what this is concerning about, yeah, so, essentially, also, you don't want to know here, despite having 81 agility, I still somehow, you know, get hit a fuck ton of traps and always end up running out of food and dying, you know, which would have been quite the disaster indeed. But, yeah, the whole thing in regards to, I guess, just, alright, to get to the blunt of it, yeah, there is a, well, there was to be a new boss that was to be a sort of... It's a weird mixture between Zalcano and Wintertoad, and that is fishing boss and that, yes. Indeed, fuck, some people had some very creative names to call it. Yeah, no, but essentially, people were complaining that there was a lot of similarities to it, and believe me, from the looks of it, it kind of seemed as such. So instead of being like this open area, you know, like, or kind of closed open area, you know, where you have to light up braziers and that, you know, it's a kind of a bit of smaller area, you know, like docks and all that surround the boss, that you have to do the stuff with these harpoon cannons or some shit and that, and the winter damage, you know, freezing would be replaced with thunderstorms and other aquatic attacks indeed, and but there would be a time limit, I think. That wasn't there with Wintertoad. It's just, if you were shit at your job, it would just take ages, whereas there was supposedly a time limit there, so the longer you wait, the more dangerous it got, until eventually you know, it'd be different and that, I think. You know, that's what seems to be hindering. So maybe a bit of a harder one, exchange for better fish experience, better fishing supplies, that kind of stuff. But then people are unhappy because instead of, like, say, adding his boss on top of, say, I mean, to be fair, fishing trawlers is not a bad mini. I think it's not terrible, but it could do a lot of improvements. That much I will say. However, here we get the first of the 4 keys yet. With that all said and done, you know, it seems like an actual extension, like a harder fishing trawler that would incorporate a boss-like kind of element to it, you know. Also, fucking lol, Gmos with a weekly live stream on Twitch right now. How about no? Indeed, I'm trying to do fucking Dragon Slayer here, and sequel, and also, yeah. Well, that's said and done. People are a bit pissed about it, you know. Just could have done it, you know, a lot better, and now they're essentially redoing the boss, and that's not. It was meant to be coming out, I think, either next month or right at the beginning of November, but that's now impossible. They're now actually doing such a big redo, it's now going to be the earliest January next year. It's like, so I guess it really must have needed a full makeover if that was the case, but, well. So, alright, oh, this is a fun one. Now actually getting to the correct one, yeah, the RuneScape forum moderators, not the subreddit ones. Yeah, now, I have my own contention with some of the forum moderators and that. You know, some of them are decent, just trying to help out, but others are a bit suspect. And you know, one of the big ones, the ones I'm really fucking worried about, it's actually not the guy who was a bit of a tosspot, and the one who was, I think, a year and a bit ago, actually demodded, and that, you know, off camera, it's not Anthrax, it's fuck, and it's some guy with a fancy Slayer helm and that, but just, yeah, he was a bit full of himself, but he got knocked off his high horse, thankfully. No, the one I'm really concerned about is that elderly tit with a blue parry hat. No, it's not the fucking... I guess it's a lookalike of the... Oh, how can I not remember his name? The wise old man. No, it's a lookalike of him. And you know, yeah, copycat and all, what is it? Tuffy T. And yeah, that fucking guy, it's... I don't know, some always rubbed me the wrong way with him and that, you know, you kind of get that feeling with some people where it's like, it's not a case of being too nicey kind of thing, you know, it's more like behind the words, when you read it, it's, I don't know, some people can't really decipher, as others, you know, it might be a case of bias in that, which, I don't know, I'm not saying it isn't, but I think it's important to note that what's been revealed in today's, well, not today, and when it was announced kind of thing, you know, via a most revealing thread indeed, and that. Now, what I can say is, I can't remember if I actually read this on the forums itself, or if this was on the RuneScape 3 read, I can't remember, and it was one of the two, but yes, essentially, the forum moderators have been under quite a bit of hot water recently for what I guess you would consider shady involvement in rare item manipulations and that, you know, you'll probably know all the stuff in that. Yep, the bloody Santa hat, the 3 Halloween masks, Christmas cracker, the I don't know if the ring and that. I think the ring's also quite expensive, but also the fancy party hat collections. You know, oh yes, you know, despite the fact that GP currency right now is going, we'll just say 1 in 7, and I having still about, say, close to 2 billion, say 1.9 just to be on the safe side, times that by 7, that is a pretty solid 13.3 billion in RuneScape 3 GP. That's not even enough to get me the cheaper party hats, you know, like I think it's the yellow, green and purple, and like they're those like 16, 18, 20-ish. Like, holy fuck. Like, oh man, the prices are going crazy in that, but I mean, I will say this, if I was to ever quit RuneScape, I'd like to do it with style, and you know, go now in style, and I feel like that would be a good way of doing it. Just, I'll happily trade all my old school currency, everything, if I got a party hat, and probably it would be one of the cheaper ones. I think they'll be really stingy, because, oh no, you should pay this and that, or no, we won't do it, it's too risky. Well, fuck you then, I guess you're not going to get, like, that's what I would do. It's kind of a weird, you know, like, giving up account kind of thing, you know, but I'm going to do it my way kind of thing. That would probably put me off RuneScape for good, but in a weird way where it's like, at least I've got something that I can hold on to. And probably I'll never really give it. I'll make my account super per fucking, yeah, that might be a problem. But yes, just in regards to that, it's, oh boy, what to say about it, but, man. Yeah, just this whole rare item manipulation business, and yeah, subtly, supporting them via, yeah, selective moderation, yes, that word again. Indeed, this whole thing where it's like, not only are they indeed getting involved in manipulating item prices, but they're also cutting up the competition, which again, it's like, that's like, there's this whole thing about, not being biased. Nah, a lot of jobs expect you to not be biased, even if it's difficult to. And that, it's like, they treat it as a very serious process, especially in my line of work, though. It's not exactly the same thing. If you're dealing with financials, it's just numbers, just don't fucking fiddle around with them, and you'll be pretty good. And that, but when it concerns things like, say, court cases, or, anything where there's like a significant, kind of personal bias to it, then yeah, there is a lot to be said in regards to how people selectively go about handling these things. And I don't know, it's yeah, it is quite the contentious one indeed. Also, I think, yeah, it's very close indeed. Yeah, right about here, and that, like, holy fuck. Yep. And yep. Indeed, this is the spot, indeed, for what I think is the second key. Yep. Number 2 acquired in Mauritania. That. Yeah, first one I believe was, if I'm not mistaken, Karamja, but I might have already forgotten. But yeah, now with number 3, I think might be in Zia. Doesn't sound right, but I guess we'll see. And that, yeah, it's been a little bit of time since last time was it Dragon Slayer, and also, forgive me if the details aren't exactly 100% correct. Also, I don't know why I have range gear on me. I can't remember why that is. And you don't really need it till like right near the end for the boss fight, but I mean, who the fuck knows? But yeah, so with my whole contention of selective moderation, it's a fucking farce. And there's always that slight element of corruption, and yeah, it just seems like it's not a good way of, oh fucking hell, that face indeed, yeah, it's not a good look, and that's what I'm saying, and with regards to how people will perceive this, no doubt it's something that degrades that funny little element called integrity and trust, and despite how many people joke about it, it is a real thing, and and it's just, well, so with that out of the way, we get to another fun one, yeah. So there was, I think, I was off memory, so fortunately by the time this happened, the membership for Seth Skylard not long ran out, so I wasn't really affected by this. But yeah, there was a server-wide connection issue that was stemming from, I believe that was actually, of all things, an international internet blackout revolving around, I think, Cloudflare or some sort of internet provider failure on a massive scale, and that essentially so many people were unable to actually, connect, and this was not just a RuneScape thing. Oh no, this was massive. Like, many Steam games, across online, competitive stuff like, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, World of Warcraft, and if I had to wager a guess, maybe other things like, the consoles as well, like, what was it, Microsoft's Xbox Live and, PS Plus, all that, everything got affected, and it was just, yeah, I think it all lasted maybe about a few hours at most, but yeah, that caused a lot of people to get pissy, and also a few hardcore Iron Men to die needlessly, but alas, this is something that was well out of Jagex control, and it was a fun little one at that, I suppose, but anyhow, yes, so, and then we get to right dark territory, yeah. So, again from Reddit, this time on Old School RuneScape, a concerning thread by, I want to say the name's, Gerald's Testicle, yeah, it's a funny imagery one, but alas, besides the point. So, this guy made a bit of a thread about how there was a sort of serious concern over the welfare of, I guess what he called a friend or some, fucking hell, over a fellow person he's staked with in the Sand Casino, or no, I should say Gielinor, but really it's a Sand Casino, whatever he calls it at this point. So he made this whole big kerfuffle about how, he was concerned about all this guys thinking, he's saying some stuff that sounds a bit like suicide, somebody should go check on him and then, do something like that, It sounds a bit of a strange one, like, okay, so how does this go wrong then? Well, no, in case you're curious, the guy's actually live and well, so it's like, so did the guy actually fake it? Like, is that the news? The opposite, actually. It's the guy who was staking that fellow Mr. Smart and that he was supposedly going to commit suicide. Actually, no, it was he himself who faked the whole suicide warning thing and that. He was trying to make kind of, I don't know what his game was and that, if it was trying to get personal information or just to try and a weird form of intimidation rather than swatting and that, like sending the SWATs and that with guns and all, instead of it's sending the police and that to kind of like do I don't know, I don't know what his game was all about, but essentially got found out, and yeah, Reddit was not amused, with his very much, I wouldn't even call shenanigans and that, it was just quite in bad taste in all honesty and that, but yeah, he's now reviled and very much a pariah of the old school RuneScape subreddit now, never to be seen again because he's been ostracised the fuck and that. But yeah, so as you see, this is the third piece coming up here in Zaya's fucking catacombs now, which I don't think I've ever actually been here before. If I did, no wait. If I did, it was probably for the Zaya Diaries, and that was about it. And so that's probably where I got the music thing if it didn't come up there. But alas, and alas indeed. So, alright, as far as the one last thing I want to talk about, and it is, I have to talk about this. Alright, sorry if I end up focusing on this big style, obviously this puzzle here with the bustles and all that, heads and that, in position. But essentially, the big thing with this, and indeed you'll love it when you hear it, Venezuelan farms. So we all know they've been a bit more busy recently, and that after the Realm Terminator example, just toe-to-toe worlds, they start copying them, doing all the known worlds. Just out of a few worlds here and there, but then they've been gradually expanding over the months and that, getting more and more stronger, more and more numbers, getting more and even more like of an intimidating presence and that. Or not even intimidating, it's more like, if you fuck with us, we will just make you waste your time. You're here just to play for fun. We're here to live, kind of money. That's the kind of thing. Like, these folks are here just essentially to get as much money as possible and that, but not to, it's not for a fun thing. It's essentially to real world trade so they can live in the very much troubled Venezuela country and that. But as of, I would say, right at the end of last month and that, and I want to say, towards the end of September, they have been skyrocketing. Like, I'm not joking when I say this. Like, I think some people trying to downplay the numbers in that, and there may be a little bit of legitimacy, but it's largely down to luck, we'll just say, and that, because the numbers say that people in Venezuela have just been like super hammering Red Cage, or almost every world that's members has some, in more or less some capacity, and the way they're doing it is that they're not really, you don't have like 34 people in every single world, but they've got, let's say, we'll just say they have 5, 6, 7, 8 squads of about 20, 30 people each, so about, say, roughly 200, 250 people. And whenever, a world says, oh, we're getting hit by PK, please help us, they're just ready to go whoosh right in. I don't know if they do remnant caves as well, or if they kind of wait until, it's hard to say for sure, but within seconds, like, at most half a minute, they're there, and they rag the fuck out of you, like, to the point even with their shitty run crossbows and all that, they'll still likely do a lot of damage and kill you rather quickly. And that, so solo peekers have no chance. Small groups, maybe a bit more so, but they're still get pumped. And clans are actually prepared for this. It's just a matter of, you waste our time, we waste yours, and it's just, nobody really wins on that, So eventually they fuck off, and then they get back to business as usual. And it's like, you can't compete against, a whole army of Venezuelans that are ready to fucking die for, getting their money, because to them it's real, actual money, and that's the livelihood, and that, it's like, these people will fight tooth and nail to get every single last GP they can, And if it means wasted time just so you can fuck off eventually, that's what they'll do. And it's kind of essentially the mafia-esque behaviours has caused, you know, a lot of people to be locked out of Revenant caves, especially Iron Men, which are, yeah, they do a sort of thing where they pay, you know, you pay them and you get protection, so to speak. And this is the whole thing in regards to their rather nasty behaviour and whatnot, but it's very much a whole case of, you know, like basically the alcohol is too much easy money coming in, and you could say, oh nah, you can get more money with Vorkaf, you know, like Rev cases at most 2.5 million on average, you know, Vork can get you 3.5 million. So can Zora, you know, fuck. Jamie Xeris can get easily 5-6 million. Their blood, which if you're doing really good, could get you like 9 or even 10 million an hour if you're like doing the best in that. So just ignore Rev's case. That's not the problem. The problem is it's very easy to access, you know, it doesn't take very long to train a account that's at least decent for, you know, Revenant caves. And yeah, oh fuck, Ungale. Now this is the fourth and last piece here. Oh boy. Oh man. I'll actually continue this topic next time because I've got so much to say about it, but yes, so we are indeed, this is where I've got the range gear on for. And yes, so indeed, Ungale, where Vorkaf himself, the legendary blue dragon, awaits. And you see other people here just kind of running in and all that. Indeed, this is my very first time actually come across the legendary Vorkaf. Yep, you see him right there, and well, oh, I've got the story for this one here, but yeah, it looks like I might have to wait till next time, and for I am about to head on off, and probably take a bit of a break for resume commenting on the rest of this, but yeah, indeed. So I'll see you next time, folks. Well, sure we'll have the time of our life, eh? Indeed. Till then, folks. Till then.